Hey guys, so you just watched our battle report, Imperial Guard versus our White Scar Bikes, and who won, Matt?
It was me, I think. It was a close game.
It was close game.
Even dice the whole time.
Close game. Yeah, it's a Warhammer 40k is a skill game, as we know. So what do you think was some of the big moments throughout the entirety of the game? Where do you think, like, okay, I really got the advantage here?
Sure. I started out really scared because he seized the initiative and then blew away like 23 guys with his first thunderfire shot. So that was a little worrying. But I think I knew I had the advantage. Maybe at the beginning at mission selection, he went for the Maginot, or however you say it.
Yeah, Maginot. As opposed to Blitzkrieg.
And so I had a much better chance of getting and holding the center one with my, my 3d6 run move in the first turn, so I could be on it for turn 2.
So that way you can maximize your footprint over the entire board. That's right. Thing.
Yeah, it'd be really hard for him to take away that center one, and then I'd be getting 3 each turn, and he'd be getting 2.
Sure. Can you talk a little bit about seizing the initiative? I mean, it's obviously better for you because you get more guys off the field as early as possible, but I mean, what were you trying to do the entire game? Because it felt like he sort of just walked across the field with so many guys.
Well, so first of all, I made a complete mistake by not taking secondary. I don't know what I was thinking. I thought he was just going to be able to swarm the objectives by the end of the game, and there wouldn't be anything I could do about it. In hindsight, obviously it was the wrong play. And also, we had a little bit of a, not through any fault of his or mine, but I thought he had forewarning because we mixed up the powers. So I was like, well, if he has a forewarning blob, there's no way I'm going to kill it unless I seize and thunderfire the crap out of it. So by the time I was done thunderfiring, I killed over half of the blob, and we realized he didn't have forewarning. And granted, it was still not a bad idea to seize anyway, because I would just get some extra shots off.
Yeah.
But that was my motivation for seizing.
How would, if you didn't seize, how would it affect your guys' deployment? I remember you saying during the game that your deployment changed so much, whether or not it was good or bad, due to his seizing of the initiative.
Well, I didn't expect him to seize, and it was a good thing that he did because I just had clumped up. I didn't really care. I was very casual, laid back with my deployment, so everybody was real close, which is why in turn 1 he got 23, and then thereafter he got less each time. After that, I was more important about the moving with keeping 2-inch spacing, and I would have done that had I been going second.
This is something you could take a look at for the future.
Yeah.
If a lot of people might be starting to run Imperial Guard because of their new codex, something you guys can think about at home. Now, what did you think when you came in as far as deployment? Like, as far as the mission, you're pretty much straightforward, keep your Thunderfires on both sides so that way you can lay maximum waste to the entire...
Yeah, I mean, again, we're not, we were playing, we were both, we didn't really have that much experience with these armies. So I misread his powers too, which would have maybe determined, I would have deployed maybe a little bit different, but not really. So my whole plan was just to keep the bikes on the objectives for the first two turns of the game, and the bikes go forward, the scouts come back on, take their bikes' places. And then I rolled dice.
Yeah, that kind of happened. We talked about before the game started about how movement, the idea that you have so much maneuverability with his army, that do you feel like you were kind of able to negate a lot of that by keeping him on one side, using that big footprint to just seal off your entire board edge?
Yeah, I was surprised with the play a little bit. I think that the scouts by themselves, if they had stayed on the ground or something like that, could have held his back right objective, or his back left objective.
Yes, yeah.
And then all of the bikes could have yin-yanged around the table and hit me with full force the entire time. And that I would have been in trouble. If you had hit me in combat and shooting with all of the bike squads at the same time, one blob at a time, I probably would have gone down. So I was worried about that, and my slow movement might have been negated somewhat by John's choice in play. So thanks for that.
Yeah. Do you feel like there's anything else you really could have done given the scheme of the mission and everything else?
I misplayed a lot. He forced me to pretty much deploy my Chapter Master and Khan and babysit Thunderfires, which proved ineffective.
The Thunderfires did a lot of wounds.
No, and they did.
But a lot of them were also saved.
And yeah, regardless of dice, Defranza's right. I should have deployed differently. The mission was a little bit modified from the Torn of Fire mission, and it was my fault for not totally reading it and assuming it was similar to that one. And that bit me in the butt as well. So, besides, Defranza's good. Defranza's play was influenced by my bad play. So Defranza wouldn't have made certain choices had I not played like a retard.
That happens. And there's one thing that we stress on every single one of these videos, and it's read your mission packet back to front every single time. Primary, secondary, even if tertiaries are happening, especially in a mission like this, where you get to choose your secondary objectives, and you have that little bit of play, make sure you're doing it to the best of your advantage.
Don't roll dice if you can help it either.
Don't roll dice and try and mitigate variance as much as you
Or
can.
play with a Fate Weaver reroll.
Or play with Fate Weaver rerolls and try and mitigate some variance that way. Now, John, you have to play against Imperial Guard, the new Codex Imperial Guard. What do you think about the changes between 5th and 6th, and what do you think of the newest book, and especially in action, about how Matt's used them?
So now the book changed, but the way the army plays didn't. The way Guard have essentially played in this edition was blobs, flyer support, maybe some allies to support the blob. Now, depending on what format you play, whether you play Nova or BAO format where there's only 2 sources allowed, you can still adequately support 2 blobs, I feel like. So that was just like the old book. Now, if you play multiple sources, the sky's the limit with what you can do with this book. With allies, with knights, and everything. So, in my opinion, based on the first initial looks, the book got better overall. Russ's seem like they're better. Vendettas took a little bit of a hit, but they're still not bad. The HQ selection, 500 times better.
Yeah.
Easily a win for this book. Coup of the book.
Definitely. How did it feel like actually playing them, man?
It was good. I played them back in 5th, and they were very different without flyers.
Yeah.
Because the Russes could do a lot of damage, go unchecked, and not have to worry about too much. And also being able to hit vehicles was harder to do.
Yeah.
But I have to agree with John. I think the HQ section is going to be really where it shines. I'm not sure if it can stand as an alone book. When I was writing this list, I had to rewrite it a couple of times because I was having trouble figuring out like a feel, like a complete feel.
Yeah.
So I think that the abilities, the buffs that the different characters can give you, you can get a semi-fortune if you put one of the priests in a squad. And so if you can join that to a squad of Centurions or some other combat squad even, once you get into combat, you can be darn near invulnerable.
Yeah, there's a ton of wrinkles that the book is bringing toward competitive play for sure. Now, another thing that we want to tackle is White Scar bikes and their place in the meta. Now, John, you played the White Scars this game. How did you feel going in?
I made a list, and then some other people made a list, and I decided poorly that this list would have been a better choice. In hindsight, when I play White Scars, and I have the army, and I play it from time to time, I'll run White Scars with Tau Allies. And the Tau Allies would be a Skyray or Riptide, Buff Commander, 10 Crew. I think that list is better. I think you get more options. I think it synergizes better. In my opinion, based on... I feel like Ovestar is starting to take a little bit of a backseat in the meta, based on what I've seen recently. Now, granted, it just won Delaware, but that's a smaller regional GT. I think the bikes don't have any real bad matchup besides Helldrakes. I don't think they have any real good matchup besides Tau, and I think Tau and Taudar are a thing of the past. I think in Death Star 40k, I think they're just okay. I don't think okay will win you a GT.
It's understandable. And how did you feel going against them? Were there any real points where anything in the White Scar army, other than maybe the Thunderfire cannons, really gave you an opportunity to go, oh man, I might be in some danger here. This might be able to do some damage?
Sure. I think that I was worried most about. I mean, the Thunderfires were the primary threat of it, but I think that with Guard coming in, all of the grab is really not frightening at all, and it's a lot of inefficiency at that point because you're wasting a lot of points on weapons that you're going to be using bolters instead of.
Yeah.
And with all of the Inquisitor with Skull Caddies out there, I took the 34 point model to deny all of his scouting. So if he had first turn, he jumped on me and rapid fired all of his bolters on turn 1, I might have been in trouble.
Could have been completely different.
Right, but because of the Inquisitor, which everybody's taking now, I think because of the influx of Guard and how popular it may or may not be because people do enjoy it, and the increased number of Inquisitors with Servo Skulls, that not only are the benefits of White Scar Bikers decreasing, I think the strengths of the Scar Bikes are being decreased as well.
Totally.
And also, if you look at, like, for example, we're going with Adepticon just because it was the last recent GT. To fit them into Jet Seer Star, you just had to remove one jet bike. To fit them into Ovessa, you just had to modify some more of your options. To fit them into Beast Star, drop a few things. I mean, it was such an easy include that even though their FAQ allowed info cheating, it wasn't that big of a deal. I mean, you didn't see it make that much of a difference there because you could just add Inquisitors to everything. And I think with the 2-source book, if you're going to play blobs, I think Guard is the way to go main, Inquisitor ally with Cypher. I think you can adequately support 2 blobs if you run Yark and then blob and Cypher and another.
Yeah, just dominate all those objectives. Yep. Is there anything else you want to talk to our viewers at home about? Either about Imperial Guard, about White Scars, or anything in the meta during the game?
I was glad to run all the blob. It makes you tired. It might be difficult to do that in a GT because you have timed rounds. I didn't get a chance to run any of the other stuff, but just from looking over it myself, I didn't feel quite comfortable with anything else just yet. We did have limited models, so. But there's that, and I also want to say thanks for watching. Subscribe, follow, like on Twitter, Facebook, all that stuff. Thanks.
All that stuff. Thank you guys a whole lot. And John, do you have anything else to say?
Thank you, and don't roll dice, take death strikes.
There you go, guys. Until next time, we'll see you on the battlefield.